Okay, so third time should be the charm. So I hope. Hopefully, Sean, you can hear me all right. Brilliant.
I can hear
Okay,
you,
Sean.
Roger.
So we are live. We're in the group. So before we get destroyed again by the internet, let's just go for it. So, Sean, tell us about yourself.
So guys, pleased to meet you all, first of all. Thanks for joining us this evening. I've been in the industry now for about 13 years. I'm originally from South Africa, as you can probably hear from the twang. Worked my way up. I used to work for the Big Foxtons when I first started. Please don't shoot me. And then pretty much worked my way up to senior positions, left there, started my own inventory company, then my own real estate on the high street. I then basically closed that down, and then was one of the, not the founders, but one of the first people to start a Purple Bricks in their lettings department. So I was privileged to watch them grow from, well, I think we had about 35 people when we started 2000s, and watch the tech world change and grow. And then now I work for myself, but I trade underneath a company called Agent & Homes, who are based in Notting Hill. So background really is purely residential, letting, sales, property management, and property investments. Anything from the residential side within the M25, investments pretty much the whole country. So I'm pretty much a one-stop property shop, independent local agent. I've got a lot of people that I leverage part of the business to. So basically a group of very like-minded individuals, much like yourself. So if I got a mortgage, I'll refer them to there. If I've got some a loan or finance, I'll recommend them to my finance person. Or if there's a development, I'd recommend them to my developer. So I've got a very core group of people that I utilize at the moment to lean on, which has been really good in the last 5 years. And it's allowed me to grow the business and grow it in the way I would like it to grow, and deal with people firsthand and hands-on approach.
Which is always fascinating to hear.
Foxton's joke, I can see that. I do agree.
It's okay. Everyone has to start somewhere. But the main thing is, we're talking to someone who's got experience and, understands the property market quite well, especially with your sort of background and what you've done have been quite varied across the property market in terms of purchase and sale, more residential and commercial. And this is where we're seeing a lot of conflicting information. Is it the right time to buy? Is it the right time to sell? Is it the right time to rent? Stay where you are. What are you finding in your experience right now?
Yeah, that's a good question. And no one has really been in this kind of market before. No, we haven't had so many factors that will have a bearing on the lettings or sales market. And what I mean by that is, you've got Brexit, you've got tax changes, you've obviously got the coronavirus, in the EU potentially. So all these factors have had a bit of a contribution towards where the market is going. Where it'll be in 12 months' time. Very at the moment, there's been loads and loads of transactions from a sale perspective in the last 5 months. Probably in London at the moment is at a record high of just over 300 grand. If it's September, the average number of buyers contacting estate agents in September were up by 66% compared to last year. So there's definitely a lot of movement. But what I try and say to people is, if you've had the market on lockdown as such, or any industry for 5-6 months, you're going to have an influx of people coming to the market, and that's for sales and for lettings. So there's a lot of buyers and a lot of tenants on the market, but also there's a lot of stock. So people's circumstances are changing. So if you look at the Southeast, for example, that has the biggest growth with regards to property prices from July to August. And that's because people are now moving outside of London, because they want more space or they want a garden. If you look at your West End market, that's been affected probably the hardest at the moment with regards to stock levels and inquiries, because it's very much driven by your international people. So, yeah, if you had to ask me, Sean, is it a good time to let? Is it a good time to buy? People always ask me that question, and I wish I'd bought 10 years ago. I wish I'd rented it a year ago. If you look from the rental market, it's definitely a rental market from a perspective of applicants, same as the sales market. Definitely a buyer's market out there. People are getting some really good deals. The reason being, personally, I think people's circumstances are changing. So a lot of people want to actually sell and want to be in the new place before the new year or potential COVID lockdown. So that's why I'm achieving massive prices compared to 15 to 20 years back. So if answer to your question, good time to move personally. There's a lot of stock on the market. You can negotiate pricing depending on the landlord or the vendor's motivation. The biggest problem I'm finding at the moment, speaking to other agents,
Okay, so we've had a small internet crash. Just hold fire 1 second, Sean, if you can hear me.
to the surveys and searches.
Okay, I'll just reiterate what you're saying, Sean, because we just had you freeze for a couple of seconds, but those were vital seconds. So there's been an impact because of the lack of searches which are being taken place, because there's a lack of staff at the councils. Is having everything that's going on at the moment, although there's a lot of inquiries, is the completing of the sale process, because there's so few people who are working at the moment in the relevant departments. Such as when we're looking at tier 2, we're looking at potential not lockdown status, but tier 2 meaning that people need to go in fully sanitized, all the other bits and pieces, they need to react with health and safety, that kind of stuff. Am I okay there? Can you hear me all right there, Sean?
No, I got every second word, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I thought so. Basically, just trying to reiterate everything that you were saying, because you was breaking up quite a little bit there, which was just basically we were looking at how people are reacting while going into tier 2. So that the market is still continuing, but with just a couple of restrictions added into the general way of how things are being done, such as valuations. So surveyors going in, they need to be fully kitted up, hand sanitized, proper PPE clothing in order to do their surveys. So it should, your sales should not stop. There's the legal side, like the searches, because of the local councils, as there's less people working in the councils currently, the processing times are a little bit longer. Is that what you're finding at the moment, Sean? How about now? Can you hear me okay, Sean?
Yeah, I got every second word, so I'll just try and jump on what I got from my. Yeah, even though we're in tier 2, business is as usual with regards to agency work or estate agents or people moving. You just obviously had to adhere to the guidelines from an agent's perspective. But if there are anyone out there at the moment that's worrying about tier 2 and thinking be able to move from a rental or when they purchased, but that's not the case. Transactions are still happening, surveys are still going ahead, viewings are still being conducted, deals are still going ahead, people are moving. So the market is still shifting. It's slowed down somewhat, but that is coming to the end of the year. The only concern, though, from a sales perspective, is because there is a backlog. The amount of fall throughs that may happen in March, because obviously the stamp ends holiday will be ending in March the 31st. I personally think from my side that they'll extend it. I don't think they'll be able to complete on a lot of the transactions because of the backlog with regards to the survey and the searches at the moment, because of the amount of transactions. So a positive, the transactions are happening, but I think the government needs to look at the stamp duty being extended somewhat to accommodate all the transactions happening on the sales front.
Good. We've got your internet back to a good bandwidth, so we're getting you coming through. Every word that you're saying is coming through loud and clear. And I think people have got the right idea behind it. If there's any questions that you guys like to ask, we've got Sean on here up till 6:45 before he has to get going, as he's got an appointment that he needs to deal with, which is why we're doing this a little bit more earlier. How are you finding things with inquiries? Just, you know that things are going up higher, but are you finding with a lot of the inquiries that are coming through that they are financially qualified now, or they're just they're trying their luck when it comes to giving offers? So in other words, what kind of advice would you give to first time buyers who are looking?
If a first time buyer, one thing I would definitely do is get your mortgage in principle before you start looking, because obviously, as you're aware, there are lots of transactions. Once again, I keep banging on about that. So get the mortgage in principle. Make sure you've got that. If you are looking at a new build, just be careful of the new EWS1 certificate that now is needed for any build, regardless of size. That has made a huge handbrake on quite a few transactions at the moment. So if you are in first time buyer and you're looking to buy a new build that has already been built and resold, not the ones that are currently being sold off plan, just ask the agent if there's an EWS1, because I know from my understanding a lot of lenders won't lend unless you don't have one of those. But yeah, mortgage in principle, definitely have a look at all the portals as your norm. There's a lot of stock out there, guys. So from a first-time buyer, don't be scared to push your luck with regards to an offer. Obviously, we want to get the best price for the client. That's the main objective at the end of the day. But obviously, you don't know the client's motivation. So hopefully, the agent in question you speak to know the client and their motivation, and what the two together. Pick a good agent, because a good agent will find you the best properties that the whole.
We just had the internet freeze again, so
that's, but definitely look for a lot of them out there. But yeah, definitely get a mortgage in principle before you start looking.
Yeah. And again, from my sort of perspective, when we're talking about that, that's always the first thing we advise. Get your mortgage in principle, get your documents in place before you start looking, because once you find it, you want to go ahead and put your offer on it, and the estate agent needs to back you up. But because they're working on behalf of the vendors, they're not working on behalf of you. So if you have something lacking, they're not going to take your side. They're not going to take your offer seriously. What's been sort of like the in your experience, what's been sort of like the best sort of sales that you've made, or lettings that you've done, or properties you've taken on? What's been your biggest? You know what? This is a career highlight for me.
Assuming you're asking me which are the best properties that are shifting, is that correct?
Well, what's
the best kind of stuff?
In your experience, what has been like your career highlights?
Oh wow, that's a good question. Career highlights. This might sound cheesy, but I had a joy when I used to work at Purple Bricks. Very young guy in his 20s. Jack Miles, if everyone knows him, he actually works for Going Clapham. Fantastic lad. He came from a junior negotiator perspective. And long story short, he was the best into very successful. They're very happy. And I'll say that is one of my biggest highlights. I've done a few of those in my lifetime. Help mentoring people to where they need to get to. And that then I like finding anything or helping people. So same as this group, if there's anyone's got any calls, any questions, they can reach out directly.
As with everything, when you go live, things happen. So this is the third time that the internet it's not reacting as quickly as the information that we're given. The data is not being processed enough or fast enough. So if you can hear me, or if anyone else can hear me out there, and I'm not coming across every second or third word, the main problem here is short and simple. It's our internet. Just the bandwidth is just not powerful enough to process everything. Sean is still frozen there. He looks like a picture. So it is where it is. If you've got any questions for Sean, Sean is in this group. He's a part of this group. I'm pretty sure, if you want to ask any kind of questions to do with your sale of your property or purchasing or anything like that, where it's the right time to do it. Actually, any time is the right time to do it. So get your property onto the market if you need to get onto the market. You have got a deadline now. The urgency is there, and that is the 31st of March 2021 when the stamp duty holiday ends. So get this through. Sean, I think we've definitely lost you, mate. What we will do, I will, continue later on. Tomorrow, I'll do my Facebook Live, and my Facebook Live will talk about the second charge market, how it can work hand in hand to help people who need that additional funding, whether they're doctors, dentists, nurses that are looking to open up their second practice or looking to buy a property but can't remortgage for various reasons. So I'll be looking into that. And in the meantime, guys, that'll be my one Facebook Lives tomorrow, 7 p.m. Thank you for all the new members. We've gone past 450. Sean is still blocked. I don't know what's going on with the internet. But in the meantime, guys, this is going to be one of those ones that you put onto, that guy, Hadi Nakwi, he was doing an interview and the guy just froze and, that's what he looked like. So have a great evening, guys. Catch up with you later. Take care of yourselves. And definitely tune in tomorrow. See you later. Bye.